Nearly 7,000 climbers have reached the summit of Mount Everest, successfully navigating the world's most massive and chaotic tectonic ridges. But there is one mountain, thousands of meters shorter, that remains entirely untouchable. In the late 20th century, a team of experienced Siberian mountaineers attempted to break this summit taboo. Hours into the ascent, the team experienced a terrifying biological anomaly. Their hair and fingernails began growing at an impossible rate, suggesting weeks of cellular aging had been compressed into a single afternoon. The climbers abandoned the expedition immediately, but the damage was permanent. Within a year of returning, every young man on that team died of old age. These documented physical changes suggest the mountain triggers a biological response unlike any other peak on Earth. This tragedy forces a shift in perspective, where Kailash is scrutinized not as a natural landform, but as a potentially active, engineered mechanism. Looking at the mountain itself reveals a striking deviation from the surrounding landscape. While the neighboring ridges are jagged and irregular, Kailash forms a near-perfect four-sided pyramid with sheer perpendicular walls. This precision extends to its geographic placement at the axis mundi. The distance from Mount Kailash to the North Pole is exactly 6,666 kilometers, the same value found when measuring the distance to the South Pole. The mathematics repeat when calculating the distance to other ancient structures. Drawing a line to the megaliths of Stonehenge results in that same value, 6,666 kilometers. The vertical scale of the mountain itself doubles this baseline, measuring exactly 13,332 kilometers from base to peak. Researchers and ancient Sanskrit texts interpret these recurring mathematical patterns as evidence of deliberate design, suggesting the peak is a monumental pyramid constructed by a technologically advanced civilization. To test this hypothesis, we must audit the architectural blueprint of Mount Kailash, pitting its supposedly engineered features against the harshest rigor of modern science. The pyramidal shape can be explained through the ice ages of the Quaternary period. Over millions of years, massive glaciers acted as natural architectural chisels, shearing away loose rock to leave these smooth, flat slopes behind. There is also the anomaly of the snow distribution. Logically, the north face should be covered in deep snow, while the sun-baked south face remains bare. Yet Kailash exhibits the exact opposite. This is a result of regional atmospheric science. The southern face of the mountain acts as a physical wall for moist monsoons rising from the Indian Ocean, causing heavy snowfall, while the northern face is starved by descending dry air. While the symmetry and snow patterns create a deliberately designed appearance, standard glaciology and weather patterns can fully account for the mountain's exterior architecture. At the base of the mountain, we find the utility systems, two adjacent lakes that function like opposing polarities of a battery. Lake Mansarovar is perfectly round, fresh, and sustains aquatic life. Despite its extreme altitude, it remains calm and never freezes over. Rakshastal, the adjacent ghost lake, is crescent-shaped, toxic, and turbulent. It is known for entirely vanishing and reappearing without warning. This hydrogeological model shows that Rakshastal is an endorheic basin with no external outflow. Water only leaves the lake through rapid evaporation or by seeping into the ground, causing the water level to fluctuate dramatically. However, science has no explanation for the intense magnetic distortion found on the slopes. The mountain breaks the Earth's natural polarity, causing compasses to spin endlessly. While the mechanics of the ghost lake are solved, the localized failure of the magnetic field suggests a concealed energy source buried within the structure. The mountain's most famous security system is the aviation dead zone that prevents modern aircraft from flying directly over the peak. This restriction is a consequence of aviation safety protocols. Because the Tibetan Plateau averages 4,000 meters in elevation, a plane that loses internal pressure has no safe altitude to descend to without colliding with the terrain below. While the airspace is managed by geographic reality, the geology of the mountain remains an unsolved anomaly. Kailash is the only peak in the entire region constructed from rare black rock, a material entirely distinct from the surrounding sedimentary mountains. The geography itself provides a natural fortress, but the presence of out-of-place building material implies the mountain was deliberately synthesized or placed at this coordinate. This brings us back to the most terrifying mystery, the fatal biological aging experienced by the Siberian climbers. Scientists attempted to use Einstein's theory of relativity to explain this through time dilation, the idea that time moves faster at higher altitudes because you are further from the Earth's gravitational pull. But the math fails to account for the tragedy. Time dilation on a mountain only accounts for microscopic fractions of a second over a lifetime. Known physics cannot explain how a human body undergoes decades of cellular decay in a matter of hours. The ultimate test of the blueprint will likely never be completed. In 1980, the Chinese government permanently banned all climbing on Mount Kailash, legally locking away its summit. Mount Kailash stands on the razor's edge between geology and engineering, a monument reminding us that, despite our technological conquests, the Earth still harbors massive, untouchable mysteries.